tell the players? Do you want to tell the players to? If you announce the players should line up.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Brute Squad and EuroStarsTour game. The players are lining up from the middle of the field at this time. We're going to do some roster announcements before we get started.
They're going to line up.
Just coming up to heckle me now.
We need to go. Welcome to the third game in the America's Cup here in Boston between Boston Brute Squad and the EuroStars. My name is David Price and I'm here with Dory Zipperstein. How are you doing, Dory?
Doing well. It's a sunny night in Boston. Glad it's not raining.
Yeah, me too. I'll be here doing play-by-play and Dory will be doing colour and doing a fantastic job as well. We're going to have a quick look at the standings of the America's Cup. The EuroStars have been playing a couple games already, as you may have been paying attention to, with a first game against Bent and a second game against Scandal. Obviously, this game here against Boston will be the third game in the tour. Going forward from now, we have a game against Riot and a game against Underground, Fury, Nightlock, Molly Brown, and Heist. But this will be the first game, so we can see who will take the lead in the America's Cup. Currently at 1-1 with the win against Bent and the loss against Scandal. So Dory, as we just said, it's going to be a very exciting game. But what are you most looking forward to seeing from the EuroStars?
I'm fascinated about the mix of different countries represented tonight. I think an all-star team is hard to build chemistry quickly, and especially not playing that many games together. This team came together weeks ago, if that, meeting each other for some at the airport. So I think it'll be fascinating to see how quickly they can be competitive while building chemistry. They're all individually all-stars, and together they come together, and the hardest part will be playing together as a unit.
Nice. And as national champions, Brute Squad, what do you think that these guys are going to do to break down this chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, Brute Squad is a similar team to last year. They have a couple new players. They are coming off a win of a tournament in Colorado a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's continuing to improve, continuing to build that chemistry. Every team is a new team in club as well. So I think building that, they pride themselves on person defense, and so I think both teams will be pushing each other on that side, the competitive person-to-person play.
Nice. The players here now are just lining up. We see Brute Squad on the left and the EuroStars on the right. Sadly missing their Finnish flag, but all the other flags are represented. We sadly won't have any national anthems this evening, just due to technical issues. And once they've finished all this lineup, they'll flip. And the crowd here just applauding both teams. So we can see potentially a couple hundred people here in the stands just in front of us. Sadly, there are no bleachers on the other side, so you can't quite see them, but I assure you there's plenty of people watching.
With our Brute Squad roster, we have number 3, Courtney Verhollen. Number 4.
So how comes you're not playing yourself this year, Dory?
Yeah, so I was playing Brute last year, and had been on Brute now for 10 years. needed a break.
We have number
As
10,
many of us
Amber
know, it's a lot of
Sinicroft.
time, it's a lot of energy,
Number 13,
and
Becky
needed
Malinowski.
just kind of to
Number
remember
14,
what else there is in
Tulsa
life.
Douglas.
Not that there's anything beyond Frisbee,
Number 15,
but felt
Kim
like
Holman.
I wanted to remember that I loved
Number
Frisbee
17,
instead of just
Angela
feeling like it was
Yu.
something I did every year. I'm
Number
playing
21,
minimally on a co-ed
Chelsea
team with
Murphy.
some friends from high school, some old brutes
Number 22,
that I've been missing in my life,
Vicky
so just needed a change.
Vegas.
But a strong brute
Number
supporter from the
23,
sideline
Emily Bacher.
and smiling just looking
We
at the
have number
Boston on all of their
25,
jerseys
Jenny
out there.
Gogan. Number 26, Alana Schwam. Number 28, Shelly Cohen. Number 29, Caitlin Lee. Number 37, Lauren Sadler. Number
I want us to get to a point where when my name is Lyra Olson. I've played my undergrad ultimate at Princeton with Clockwork, and I just finished my last student eligibility playing for Duke. I moved down to North Carolina in June of last year. Twofold, one to play for Phoenix, and second so I could start my MD PhD program at Duke. About 3 weeks into my freshman year of college, on a jolly Friday morning, I slipped in a bathroom, missed the sink, smashed my head into the sink, and then was knocked unconscious and then face planted onto the bathroom floor. Really had messed up my front teeth. I had broken my upper jaw and I had split my lower lip. And there began truly a nearly 4-year process of reconstructive work and braces 3 times and many surgeries. And I really wouldn't have made it through that year without Clockwork. They had only known me for 3 weeks, and they walked me to every class. They sat with me to do my homework. They made sure that I was okay that year when I was really not functioning very well. That sort of like all-encompassing, like we have you in any way you need us, is that was amazing. That's an amazing gift that I can't repay.
Brew Squad. The teams are now lining up on the field with Brew Squad coming out on defense, I believe, and the EuroStars on offense. On the Brew Squad line, we have, the EuroStars line, we have Ula Keeley, Jacqueline Verals, Annika Lindqvist, Alisa Tizik, Katie Forth, and Paula Bass.
On the Brute Squad side, we have Emily Bacher, Angela Zhu, Cami Groom, Lauren Sadler, Caitlin O'Connell, Chelsea Murphy, and Shelley Cohen pulling the disc. Emily Bacher is back playing on Brute this year. She didn't play last year. She had a baby and was helping coach Brute Squad, a big force on the defensive line. But she is back and she is starting this game. So it'll be interesting to see how she's reintegrating back into the team and back into Frisbee.
And here's the pull. And down come Boston with a massive chase. And a nice pull, but sadly that sails out of bounds.
It looks like they're setting up in person defense. As I mentioned, both teams pride themselves on this aggressive person defense, so I'm excited to see how this rolls out.
So Bass bringing the disc in now. First throw of the game. Doesn't like what she sees upfield, so gets the reset to Virals. Upfield to Prien. We're going to see a lot of cuts from Prien. They're going to get a free. Keeley now on this near sideline, near the 50-yard line. Keeley around reset to Bass. Gone quite far back, but gets it back down the line to Prien from Germany. Again, resets to Forth. She immediately gets it back to Prien. Pinned in a little bit here by Brute Squad, but the EuroStars doing a good job of keeping the disc moving. Keeley fakes and goes really far around, but well placed on Forth, maybe. Bit put off there by the sun with one turnover. Zhu marking her, doing a great job. So 22 picks up, that's Negus. Vicky Negus with a deep shot immediately right into the path, but is it too far? Oh, just about. It was very unfortunate there for Brute Squad.
It was actually Shelley Cohen throwing that throw, who loves to throw hawks. I think we'll see a lot of long shots from her this game. Throwing to Lauren Sadler, actually her roommate, so they have incredible chemistry. So EuroStars will get another shot. They were moving it back and forth a lot, using the width of the field, not making too many deep shots, though.
Yeah, and I think that's potentially after the Scandal game. Both teams were taking on a lot of deep shots, but Scandal coming off obviously with more with their win. And I think the EuroStars had a training today, and they probably talked about just keeping the disc. You can't score without the disc, so they're now getting another shot at it now. So Forth, lovely little inside there to Virals. Virals swings across to Prien down the line to Lindqvist, who was under a lot of pressure, but makes sure. Lindqvist gets it to Forth, who toes the line, and there's a deep shot. Forth getting it over Tizik, who's well boxed out though.
Cami Groom getting that D. She will be aggressive on both sides, both deep on defense and on offense. Excited to see that matchup. Yeah,
I was about to say, I think that matchup's going to be very exciting. Tizik, one of the Russian beach players who already has taken on Americans this summer. And there we see Cami Groom getting the disc. 21. Chelsea Murphy stuck on the disc, but eventually finds her reset. Bacher doing a good job after her first game back since 2015. And that's Zhu going deep. Well reeled in there for the goal. I believe that's number 28, Shelley Cohen.
Yeah, Shelley is a handler but loves to go deep. It's fun to see her all over the field, and defenders who try and pick up on handlers and then have to run deep with her. So you see her catching goals in the end zone.
And that is 1-0 Boston.
Very tight defense there from Ugo Chioli from
And a fantastic bit of defense by Brute Squad.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like they pushed them back a lot. We saw that one kind of high dump. That was the around throw. So a lot of pressure on the handlers. One deep shot that ended up being D'd, but a lot of pressure on the handlers, which is cool.
I kind of like that crossfield 90 reset, though. I think it was just unfortunate that fourth couldn't quite hold on to it.
Yeah, I think it gives time to kind of set up and catch it and be able to box out your defender. So we see Boston on defense again. They came out person that first one. Let's see what they do the second one. Looks like a whole new defensive line out there. I see Sydney Dobkin, Cassie. Sorry, it's so sunny. We're looking back downfield in the sun. Vicky, Tulsa Douglas. Vicky Negus, that is Tulsa Douglas. Caitlin is out there. Allie Heath with the pull, and Caitlin also on defense.
And Brute this time keeping the disc in field for Hauser to field to Essie Inkinen. Inkinen gets it to the middle to Bex. Oh, Bex fourth just unable to keep that disc in her hands, a bit low. And now Brute Squad with a short field. 83, I believe that's Ali Heath, comes up with the disc with a lovely little break across the field. Gets it to 14, Cinecrope. Apologies, Tulsa Douglas. Douglas, stoppage on the play. Maybe a pick in the stack. So Douglas really wanting to get this moving. Heath, lovely little back and forth reset. Gets it around back to Douglas. Can't continue. And the EuroStars contain, then get the force on. Douglas, again, the same little reset to Heath. Oh, and a massive layout bid and goal by Bex fourth.
That was an awesome D. That's a hard play when you're cutting towards that end zone and the sideline's coming near and near, and so all you can do is slow down and just hope for the best. But that was an incredible D.
Yeah, and that angle there must be really hard to throw into with the player coming right in that corner.
Yeah, the defense kind of has the advantage there, and the offense has to attack. Even if you don't catch in the end zone, you kind of need to just catch the disc.
So fortunately for the EuroStars, they're given this second chance after that incredible play by Bex fourth. Ferolfi gets it across to fourth. Continues straight down the line to Milek. Milek with a deep shot. And there goes Sarah Eklund. But out of the field. But probably better to turn over that far down the field than where they were before.
Oh, definitely. I mean, hopefully they can get another stop.
So apologies if we can't see some of the numbers. We've got a bit of sunlight in our eyes.
Looks like Brute setting up in a vertical offense before the EuroStars are playing a horizontal offense.
I think that's I can't see who brought that disc in, but Heath continues to Gobin. Gobin down the line. Oh, made it hard for Chelsea Murphy. Murphy is fouled on the mark. That's 71. Right, my apologies. That's Cassie Wong. 7 looked like a 2. So Wong down the line to Gobin. Gobin, oh, and a very good reset cut there by Heath. Burns her man down the line and makes it easy for Caitlin Lee to get the goal in that corner. Despite the EuroStars' best efforts on defense with a fantastic play by Bex fourth, Brute Squad with another break, taking it to 2-0.
Caitlin Lee is fresh off a championship. She was playing Dartmouth in college with 2 of the other Brutes, Angela and Jay, and coached by a former Brute as well. So she's coming off an exciting college season and her first year on Brute Squad, which is awesome for her. We love to see young college players getting opportunities to play club.
Against Newton North A. And so we had one person come up with that in the Twitter, and that was Jack Destler.
We should have a quick shout out to our disc sponsor. That's Discraft, supplying all the discs for each game, and selling discs here at the stadium for every event. It's a great little design, and as always, a great producer of discs in Discraft.
Brute Squad's on defense again, and we're seeing a lot of new players, which is a wonderful thing in club to be this deep of a team and be able to play all your players. Courtney Verhollen, far left, is back after ACL surgery, and this is her first Frisbee game back. She's been practicing and playing some mini games, but this is her first 7-on-7 game, and I'm thrilled for her. I know ACL surgeries are prevalent among Frisbee players, so I'm pumped to see her out in the field.
And more prevalent in women's ultimate as well.
Definitely.
But here come the EuroStars again, marching up the field with Varals and Bass with the reset now. Gets it around. I think that's Varals. Again, it's a bit hard to see with the sun, but a fantastic grab there by Priyan, making sure the EuroStars can continue on offense. Gets the disc across to Bass. Takes the open shot to Priyan. Priyan, some huge fakes. And the EuroStars going backwards a bit at the moment. But finally gets it to Katie Forth, who continues to Varals. Varals takes a tight option, well boxed by Forth. She goes around, backhand, down the field. But again, disc flying out of bounds and defended by Brute Squad as well. So that's a couple unfortunate turnovers there by the EuroStars.
Yeah, I don't think they've had a completed deep shot yet.
And to try and show us up, here come Brute Squad with one of their own. Cami Groom on the line. Gets the reset off though to 3. Verhalen. And straight back to Groom for the goal. That quick play there by Brute Squad really making it hard for the EuroStars to set up their defense.
Yeah, one of the things EuroStars was saying that they are working on is fast breaks. And we've seen that on the other side as well. Both Brute and EuroStars are working on the deep shots as well as fast breaks. And it's seems to be working a bit more for Brute Squad. I think the chemistry helps with them. But I'm curious to see if this kind of break, maybe timeout, will make some adjustments for the EuroStars.
So the score now here is 3-0. That's 3 breaks in a row there by Brute Squad. And the EuroStars, I believe, have taken a timeout, probably to regain their composure. We'll take a short break there for you guys to come back later. So we're back out of the timeout now, and EuroStars will be feeling a bit beaten and battered at the moment, being 3-0 down, but as we saw in the Scandal game, you cannot give up on these EuroStars. They will come back, and as we saw against Scandal, as I say, they came back from 3-0 down to be only two down at half. So I think they'll definitely be struggling mentally, but this is where the best players will shine.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about Frisbee and sports in general is the mental aspect. To pay attention to the score, to not pay attention to the score is a challenge. To hear 3-0 and think we are down or there's no way we can come back, that is challenging for athletes and one of my favorite things about sports.
Indeed. And here we have the EuroStars, this time with a few short shots. Hauser gets it to Scrampy. She goes down the line, well kept up by Forth. Bex Forth now on this near sideline. Centres to Eklund. Middles to Maya Milek, who immediately resets to an open Francesca Scrampy. Hauser waiting on the 40-yard line. Gets it to the middle to Schneidel. Schneidel goes all the way around to Eklund. Now EuroStars with a chance in the red zone. Inkinen on the disc. Clearing Hauser makes space for Forth. Forth hasn't got many options, but eventually resets to Hauser, and it just bounces out of her hand. There's no call on the field, although there's a lot of players standing still. And that was an unforced error there by Hauser, giving Brute another chance at a break. But it's not going to be easy now from this position, I'd say.
So Brute has had 3 breaks in a row and now sends out their offensive line. They have O and D lines that they work on to get that chemistry. I think one of the challenges of a big team is to have those different lines and be able to break it up into two subsets to gain chemistry within that. And we see their offensive line working.
And there's Malinowski showing exactly why she's on this team. Always looking deep, always looking for a goal, and that brute squad line there made it look incredibly easy.
A great break mark throw by Emerson Akrope, who moved her mark well enough to have pretty much an open backhand to Becky, who's a wonderful target in the end zone.
And I feel like the EuroStars will be a bit disappointed with that point. They were doing very well at moving the disc. They just isolated their handler a bit too much, maybe.
Yeah, it looked like they weren't breaking the mark much. I think when you just are on the open side and the defense can shut that down, it makes it easier for the defense. I think you have to be able to throw to both sides and make the mark and your downfield D have that be a threat. So I'm curious to see, I don't know their end zone offense well enough, but I'm curious to see what they will do around the end zone and hope they get another shot this offensive point.
So we can add a little more interesting facts around Hauser there, who unfortunately had a turnover, but she's a wonderful player and has been playing very well in the other games, particularly around throwing the disc immediately and keeping the disc moving, like we talked about earlier. Both teams liking to move the disc quickly, but she's from Switzerland and recently has been playing in their club nationals, where her team successfully won the tournament. But now the EuroStars looking for this hold, seeking for this hold. Prien to Farrell's on halfway. She takes on a deep shot to Annika Lindqvist. Will she reel it in? Yes, she will. In fantastic fashion over Vicky Negus. And that is the EuroStars' first goal of the game. Now at 1-4.
And finally, a successful long throw. I'm excited for that Huck. I think teams become more threats when you have to take away the under and the deep shot. So this will be exciting to see if the game gets a little closer and a little more exciting.
Lindqvist there with the goal, one of the 3 Swedes on the team. The other 2 being Annalie Andersson and Sarah Eklund. All 3 have played together on the national team, and they have all played together in various combinations for various club teams, including E6 and Seagulls from Stockholm and Gothenburg. I was just talking to Annika a couple of days ago when we were in DC. She was telling me that she has a little bit of a back injury, and so she needs to go and swim more. And in Sweden, the best place to go swimming is in the sea, which is like, it's the North Sea, it's freezing. And I was so impressed because I've been to Sweden a few times, and whenever I'm there, I'm like, I don't want to go in the water. That's cold. That's horrible. So I was like super impressed. These girls are hard.
They are.
Sorry, these women are hard, and that's something I should definitely bring up. I had a great message from a fan saying that we should use the correct terminology and the correct language, and this sort of tour is a very important place for that. So anyway, back to these amazing athletes. Malinowski putting a great disc into the end zone and reels it in is Elena Schwamm. Fantastic goal there. Apologies for missing the first half, but I definitely saw that shot into the end zone, and that was very well placed by Malinowski, not just a receiver.
Yeah, and she got enough separation that she could just run onto it. There wasn't even a need to stretch out. You see Alana Schwamm, number 26, just being able to pancake catch that without any pressure from the defense. Awesome separation there.
Hashtag EST 2017. The question is...
Yeah, to just finish that conversation. Yeah, we had a great message from a fan saying that we shouldn't use the word girls, and she's very right, we should use the word women. Just like we don't say man defense, we should say person defense, and I think we definitely agree that language is important, especially in these conversations around gender equity and women's ultimate and women's sport and women in the spotlight as they should be just as much as men. But when we're watching women's ultimate, we should treat them the same as we would anyone else. So.
And I think for young girls and boys who are watching any sports, to have role models and to be able to see that it's not just men playing defense, it's people playing defense, and that could be me out there playing. Definitely.
So apologies for any previous uses of the word girls. We're going to try very hard to use the right language here. So the sun has set on the field at least. Can probably see the players a bit better now. So Bas, yet again, bringing this disc in and doing a fantastic job of handling. Trying to command her other handlers. Pushes Beck, I think that's fourth upfield. It looks like Brute are playing a bit of a zone. Priyan now on the disc. Lovely.
It almost looks like just kind of saggy on the handlers, making them work a little more and figure that defense out.
It looks like they have, though. Haven't got to the third now, but Lindqvist with a lovely across-field shot to Tizik. And the Eurostars offense is starting to click with now 2 goals to 5. And they made that look a lot easier.
They did. The defense was not as close as we've seen it in past points, maybe because they were trying that sagging defense.
And here in the replay, we see Lindqvist on that sideline. A very nice throw, high and bladey to the far side of the field, where Tizik is only just poked slightly, but it's exactly where the defender can't get to it. That's well placed, well read by Tizik.
Yeah.
A good bit of offense there from the Eurostars.
Yeah. Lindqvist from Sweden. A couple other players on the team are from Sweden as well, and Tizik is from Russia. One of the only player, from Russia. I don't even know how often they've played together, but that looked seamless out there in the offense.
Apart from the games here in the training, they've never played with each other. As I've said in many of the other streams, all these players have played against each other in some club or national fashion. But Tizik, as we previously mentioned, is the only Russian. We were very thankful to the Russian Federation, who gave us a lot of help with getting visas, etc., because it's quite difficult to get Russians over here. And we really wanted Lisa because she's young. She's played at the for national team for many years, and with her team, Lemongrass. But now the Eurostars coming out with a zone to try and slow down the Brute squad offense. Malinowski now on the disc. Gets it back to 14. Douglas, who almost slips all the way around to 46.
The zone looks
Emerson.
like number 7, Sarah Eklund, is just chasing, so she's marking the entire time.
Yeah, I believe it's like this 1-3-2-1 look. Almost like a junk set. Malinowski now pinned on this sideline, but finds the reset. And this is the zone are doing a very good job of containing Malinowski and 14 playing together. Malinowski with a huge knife over the top. Can she read it? Absolutely. Kim Kolpan keeping that disc in stride, and they've broken through the zone. Malinowski now back on the disc once more. Malinowski wants a reset. Eventually, number 10, Sinacrope free into the corner to Tulsa Douglas. And I feel like Brute Squad struggled a little bit initially with that zone, but that knifey blade across the field by Malinowski just broke free for them.
I agree. I think most zones, especially when it's the first time seeing it in a game, the advantageous part is it's a new look. Brute Squad has to adjust. They haven't seen this zone, this game. Sometimes teams haven't seen a zone ever before. As you said, it was kind of a 1-3-2-1, which when we talked to Bex before the game, said it was a common zone played in Europe. And so you have to figure it out. You have to think more. You can't just play offense. You have to make more passes. You have to find the openings, which could be a smaller window than you're used to. As you said, Becky Malinowski was able to kind of have that bladey throw over the cup, finding her former college teammate, Kim Kolpan, and then they were able to score with Amber Sinacrope, who played at Amherst High School along with Tulsa Douglas. They didn't play together, but both attended Amherst High School along with many other current Brutes and Brute alums.
Nice.
Myself included.
The score here is 6-2. Boston taking a couple breaks early on in the game, but the Eurostars slowly warming into it, maybe a bit of nerves. Brute Squad being the current USAU national champions, and a big shout out to USAU, who have been fantastic supporters of this tour, both financially and social media, etc., helping out, getting us in contact with people. So big shout out to them.
So Brute Squad coming down in defense. We'll see if they're playing a tight person defense again, or kind of sagging off on the handlers.
Eurostars are doing a fantastic job of keeping that disc moving at this point. So already up to half with Bas, Priyan and Lindqvist. Keeley getting the disc. To a compatriot there in Annalie Anderson. Couldn't quite keep hold of it, though. Maybe she didn't expect it. Now giving Brute the disc back, which to me seems like exactly what you can't do. This Brute squad, I don't think have really turned maybe once in this half, and Zhu proved me wrong immediately by turning over. I think that was Zhu, or was that 71? No, that was Wong, sorry, Cassie Wong.
People often mix them up.
Yeah.
Both the numbers and the body sizes, they are.
From this far, they look very similar, just by their body type. But Prien now on the disc. Takes the reset to Katie Forth. And another undershot there, just slipping out of reach from Bus.
Brute squad just outside the end zone. Tough spot since you can't do an end
Beisha.
zone play yet.
Beisha, that looked like a great shot. I really like that sort of IO backhand onto the break side, but I think it was just a bit too long for the field.
Yeah, I think it's similar to when Lundqvist scored on before, kind of the break side where the player can just run onto it, but out the back is not a play that you can often make.
So now the third attempt here for the Eurostars. Let's see if they can do it. Bass to Prin, taking a lot of contact. Then Forth with a deep shot. Oh, and Tizik maybe thought she would have to come under to read that, but potentially could have just run onto it as well.
The defense jumped early, which maybe she thought she could read it, but also makes the offense question it. And as we saw, she jumped as well, misreading it.
So this is Zhu on the disc. Many of you will know Zhu from her recent Dartmouth win, along with her Riot friend, Jacqueline Verju. Zhu now on the disc, and Brute squad being pushed back. Beisha on the disc now. Goes high and around to 22. Nagus. Nagus on the far sideline. Resets to Beisha.
Brute squad seems to be having trouble getting it upfield to their cutters, just kind of moving along with their handlers.
But
This is a good start.
But now they've broken. So Nagus on the disc. Down the line to Wong. Wong around to Beisha. Bit of a high grab, but always going to make sure. Resets to Zhu again. Slowly pushing back. Ooh! And Wong definitely had the disc. It was a bit of a late bid from Prien. I believe that's an uncontested foul. But she could have. I definitely think that's a valid bid on the bid on the disc. Just a bit late.
Yeah, I think those are hard when it's inside. So both Caitlin Lee and Cassie Wong's defenders could have a play and both kind of attempt to make a play.
But Wong takes the reset to Beisha, who gets around to Zhu. Zhu. Again, resets to Beisha, who immediately gets the disc down to Wong. And Zhu is free in the end zone, but not free enough. I thought that was a lovely shot into the end zone, but maybe a bit too far ahead of Zhu to keep hold of it.
Yeah, it's possible she's tired. It's possible the lines, she was looking to make sure she was in bounds or just wasn't ready for it yet. But I also thought it was a good look.
So now a fourth attempt for the Eurostars.
And now going 70 yards.
This is one of the hardest places to come in this corner, but Forth is not scared of doing that. Taking on a deep shot straight away. Tizik being defended. Oh, and can't quite keep hold of it. Well defended there by Brute Squad number 33. 39, Dobkin. Oh, a great pickup there from 22. Nagus with a deep shot, cross field. This is a rematch of the deep shot we just had. And Tizik defending it perfectly well.
So your stars will again have 70 yards to go. They might try that huck first off or try working it. This has been a very long point for both teams, though.
Yeah, they're going to get tired out there, but this might work in the favor of the Eurostars. Again, just a little drop there from Anderson. And now I'd argue that the table has turned. Brute Squad with a bit of a shorter field. Beisha picking up. Wanted that inside look again, but couldn't quite get it off. Gets the little dishy pass from Zhu. And
Loving that around forehand.
Yeah, that step out was very well taken by Beisha. Almost a bit like Jenny Fay, in the style in which she's throwing right now.
I agree. They do play similar, kind of that active handler, throws everywhere, hard to guard, great defender.
I'm not sure what happened there, but Beisha wasn't able to connect with someone upfield. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication between the stack. We've had a number of turnovers here. Both teams potentially tiring on the field. I'd be tempted to call a timeout if I was coming up to the... Oh, like I can predict the future. And here Fourth taking a timeout.
EuroStars calls a timeout.
And this is a good chance for me to thank the many people that have been behind this tour. The likes of Bex Fourth, who's done a fantastic job of getting it set up. The family around her. So Anthony Solomon, Sean McCall, who's Katie Fourth's partner. You guys doing a great job making sure these fantastic athletes are prepared and can organise these fantastic athletes to come out here. Also, Luke Johnson back at Fulcrum Media, who's made sure that we can live stream this event. Jolie Lang, it's the same for Ulti Photos, who we can see down on the field as our main photography partners. Thanks to all these people for doing incredible work. And finally, Will Diva at USAU, again, a great supporter of the tour.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, the All-Star Tour, the Euro Tour, I think these are such exciting events that we're able to experience. There aren't that many avenues for high-level women's teams besides, the club division, but to showcase in this level is so incredible. We were talking earlier and saying, especially in Europe, they don't have AUDL, they don't have MLU, nothing for women at this level, and it's so awesome to be able to showcase incredible ultimate.
Yeah, and it's been an absolute treat to be hosted here by Boston Brute Squad, myself having the pleasure of staying with Ali Heath, and we went to visit Cami Groom last night, and it's been very interesting to talk to different players from around the world. Like, obviously we're talking to the Eurostars a lot, but meeting all these great players that you see. I mean, I've seen most of these players on TV myself, and seeing what they're doing in their communities, not just for Ultimate, for young children, but for women and girls, via things like the Girls Ultimate movement. Again, we have been doing clinics here every game, and I just find it very inspiring to meet these people and see what they're doing, and then potentially take those ideas and those skills back to Europe and hopefully spread that knowledge.
Definitely. For years, Brute has been doing clinics with high school and college teams in the area, which has, for me included, been an incredibly rewarding experience. I know for the teams as well. Many of those teams have coaches that weren't able to play at this level, and to get those new ideas to be clinicked and taught by these role models is incredible for them to see, and they say it's their favorite day of the year, which makes it ours as well.
So now out of the timeout and back with the game. Bas gets it to Anderson. Toes the line, does a fantastic job this time. To Prien. Bas to Fourth. Fourth inside to Tizik. That goes a bit low, but makes sure. To Keeley, who's double teamed currently. Keeley. High stall, but eventually finds Tizik. Continues to Lindqvist. Lindqvist with a pingy deep shot. And it's absolutely on point to her compatriot, Annalie Anderson. And the Eurostars using that timeout to perfection to make sure they get the goal and taking it 4-6.
They came out fired up. Let's see this replay.
That brings the score to
again, Lindqvist taking on the deep shots, and that was perfectly placed to get around the Brute Squad defender, who's maybe centimetres from the bid. Anderson making sure, giving a thumbs up to her teamsmate. And sorry, losing my words there. Too exciting. Fantastic goal from
I agree. Lindqvist has had back-to-back goals with that similar look, kind of that forehand to the opposite corner, just out of the defender's reach. And Lindqvist has been part of all the goals tonight. It's been awesome to see them play. And again, they came out of that timeout with new energy and ready to play on offense.
2006. 17.
I'm curious to see if the EuroStars will do that zone again. It seemed to work, that 1-3-2-1, or if they'll do that person defense and kind of see that look that we've seen before from them.
Later in the game, Dory will be selecting her play of the game, which will have its own name due to our Indiegogo campaign, which I'll reveal later. But she'll be keeping her eyes out for what she thinks is the best play. I think so far we've had some really nice defense from Beck's fourth in that corner, and some lovely shots by Brute Squad, who are now coming out on offense.
And it looks like they're maybe in a saggy. They're in that zone again, that 1-3-2-1 that we saw earlier.
Yeah, they did give them some joy before. So here we have Tajima on the disc across to Emerson. Emerson gets it inside. Well played there to 26. Schwamm. Back to Emerson. Oh, and almost blocked there with Tajima.
It looks like the EuroStars have gone into person defense now. That was a smooth transition.
Yeah, didn't even notice it.
No.
Claudia Tajima, let's get it right. On the disc. Looks like stall 7, the disc is coming in. I think maybe a pick-up field.
So both Claudia and the dump here, number 46, Jojo, both played at Tufts, not together, but we have there's a lot of Tufts alums this year on Brute Squad. 42 also on the field is a Tufts player, Rachel Kramer.
And a great reset cut there by number 10, Sinacrope. And a lefty here, number 42, but she gets it to Tajima across to Sinacrope. Sinacrope wants everyone to come under, but she strikes across the field, gets it back from Tajima. And well stopped there by Milek, didn't want that goal. So Sinacrope with a high release lefty backhand into the front corner for 42, Rachel Kramer to take the game to 7-3.
A lot of patience around the end zone, which is challenging, but you saw both Claudia and Amber dumping it back and forth, seeing what they wanted. Amber faking that backhand around, but not throwing it because she didn't like that option. It's hard to have patience around the end zone when you want to score. Amber loves that lefty backhand, both kind of brought out of necessity after an injury, and easier to throw short than that short forehand that kind of be zippy and hard to perfect.
Yeah, there are very few players that I've seen that have that, and there are a few, don't get me wrong. So the lefty we've seen a prevalence in the lefty for the last 5 to 10 years.
I agree. You'll see Emily Bacher, Angela Zhu, and Amber Sinacrope, all handlers on Brute Squad, love that lefty backhand.
Yeah, as I already mentioned, we saw Faye in the Scandal game. She loved that lefty backhand, and it was just a great way of continuing down the field without using that.
Yeah, I think you become more deadly as a handler when you can throw that. It's an easier throw both to throw and catch when it's a lefty backhand as opposed to that forehand, and hard to defend because you can throw the low forehand or a high backhand, so it keeps the mark on their toes.
Went to Wisconsin.
So Brute coming out on D again, and the EuroStars looking to hold and potentially claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, and as we said, it's 7-3, so potentially Brute taking half if they get this break.
So fielded by Bass to fourth. There's a bit of a sag off the handlers again. So Virals gets the disc, but immediately throws into the person defense there from Ali Heath, who picks up as well straight away. Oh, and very tight there, but gets it to Groom. Groom high into the middle, just behind their defender, and the EuroStars off to the races. As we said earlier, they want to move the disc quickly, and they do. To Keeley, gets it to a massively free Lindqvist, into the middle to Virals. She goes deep to a streaking Tizik, perfectly placed but not quite in. Tizik has an isolated pre-in and an incredible inside-out throw. She was waiting for that cut to come, and that's a fantastic hole by the EuroStars. Now 4-7.
Yeah, they isolated her, and she was just waiting. Tizik was waiting for her to get open. You see no one else kind of entering the end zone, and her just saying, "I want you, and I'm waiting for you to be open for me." A great throw.
And that's years and years of practice, that IO flick. As we said earlier, Tizik, having represented Russia from juniors through to seniors, has had a lot of experience playing at a high level, but never having played here in the US. So I've been talking to her through the week. She's super excited about playing some of these big teams, particularly the likes of Brute Squad and Riot, sort of semi-final onward teams. And she's an incredible little handler, like you've just seen there.
Yeah, I think any all-star team is fun, both to play with these people that you've played against or watched, in Europe, maybe not playing against them as much, and then to play against these teams that you've watched as well, or are your role models. So this is an awesome venue, both for the players in it and people being able to watch at home.
If you are watching from home, do feel free to tweet at EuroStarsTour. Sadly, we won't receive it today in the booth, but there will definitely be replies later on in the evening, probably once I'm home and able to access them.
So Brute Squad's offensive line is out. We haven't seen too many reps of them, but when we have, they've been pretty smooth and quick movement, challenged by that zone as we talked about, but able to kind of move quickly through it.
And here we have Claudia Tajima. If Brute can score this, that will be half. Massive fake there from Leanne Hoffman, who wasn't initially billed to play this game, but turned up, and we luckily saw her. And a point block by Laura Ferralfi from Italy. Immediately, Hauser picks up, goes down the line to Milek under a lot of pressure. Milek with a deep shot, and a streaking Eklund with no one around her, and that's a break by the Eurostars, making sure that Brute Squad know they have to score every point. Fantastic block by Ferralfi, fantastic isolation from Eklund, and here we see in the replay, there's the put in by Hauser to Milek. She fakes the backhand and takes on the deep shot, and Eklund, who we'll just see coming into frame now, really free, making it look easy, pumping her fists if she takes that goal down.
That's an awesome point for the Eurostars. To get a point block, being an aggressive mark is challenging. It's you've played the point of defense, and then you get on the mark, and many people think of it as a time to rest, but the mark is one of the most, if not the most important jobs you can play on defense, and to be an aggressive mark that active, able to get a point block is awesome. So great point for Eurostars on both sides.
The point block there from Laura Ferralfi, who not only plays Ultimate but works Ultimate. She works for the Bologna sport organisation called CUSP, who contain both the men's and women's Ultimate club teams. So she does 80% of her work is for the Ultimate teams, and the rest is for the likes of fencing and some other sports that she has to work with. But her life is Ultimate after years of playing for CUSP Shout and for the Italian national team.
Very awesome. So Eurostars out on defense again. I imagine have a bit of energy after that last point. And again, that mental aspect of the game I talked about, this is another point where it's hard. Brute Squad just got broken. And similar line that they played before. So coming out, forgetting that last point and able to play offense again.
So Tajima, picks up. Swings it to, an immediate drop by Hoffman. Didn't like what she was given. So fourth with a massive backhand, but I think that's fading out the field again, and that's two of those for her. Just a bit too quick for Lindqvist. Maybe she should have looked to her reset. So Brute Squad, fortunately, given another chance at the half. Tajima gets it to the middle.
Brute Squad playing a horizontal offense here. A lot of movement from the cutters. They're deep now, but looking to have both big unders and some deep shots, as we see from Becky gaining at least 20 yards with that cut.
Yeah, I think that was off of Nikki Priem poach. She was able to go deep, but called under by Hoffman, and a break side throw into the path of Tizik. I would argue that's very well read by the Eurostar. A bit of contact, I think, is acceptable in that situation. But if the players disagree, they would disagree with me. But.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think good defense. We saw Lana Schwamm throwing that inside backhand kind of across the field. Beautiful throw to Rachel Kramer, but the other defender, I don't even know whose defender that is, was able to poach off, read that disc pretty well, and get that D. So that's a great D.
Yeah, and you can see straight away she was concerned about that. And that was almost a great grab by Tajima, but it looks like a strip has been called. Totally uncontested. So both teams in agreement that was a strip. The sun is now set and we've got the lights on, so we'll probably be able to see the field a lot better, particularly from our box. But Priyan gives it to isolated Tizik, who continues. A bit floaty, but fourth.
Great grab.
Yeah, absolutely snagging that down. Fourth. Into the middle to Keeley. And a pick-up field. As you can see the players doing the hand signal there. Which is the both arms in a right angle position.
The EuroStars stack looks pretty deep. You can use the lines about 20 yards to that first player. I don't know if that's their goal, but it didn't work out in their favor. So maybe they were too deep to make offense happen.
You have to be careful there with Malinowski. The massive frame of her arms must just be enough to put off a throw. But now, Brute coming out on offense. Tajima gets it to Malinowski. The number 10 was probably just in the way a little bit there, Anna Sinacroke. Oh, and a huge bid by fourth. Hoffman doesn't like that corner for the goal, so she's going around. Got a bit of a touch there off fourth, but Sinacroke moving it straight away to Malinowski. And yes, the EuroStars doing a great job of keeping them pinned though. Sinacroke, a round flick, and well defended by Priyan. She was exactly next to her player. And a player is down there on the field. Looks like, I can't see which number it is, but she doesn't look like she's very comfortable.
I think it might be Claudia Tajima.
Yeah, I think you're right. The socks look like those of Tajima. I hope she's okay.
We've got an injury call on the field. Claudia Tajima.
And the trainer has come onto the field. We can't quite tell what's happened, but as I say, we hope that Tajima is okay. We'll try not to focus too much on the injury.
Yeah, let's think about that end zone play for a bit. So we saw a lot of movement, looking off some options. And she's up, which is great. The offender's not liking those short throws where they kind of force it in. The defense can get an easy D. So moving in a lot of back and forth and trying to get some break options, which didn't work out. But I think that was their goal, was to use that break side. Looks like Claudia's walking off, which is great.
Yeah, I think maybe her ankle. She seems to be limping a little bit. I hope she has only strained it slightly or something small and easy to fix, especially with the upcoming Triple Crown and US Open coming up in a couple of weeks.
Looks like Angela Zhu came in for the sub. Typically plays defense, but happily will play on both sides, and a pleasant treat for Brute's offensive line.
And a lovely little inside continuation to Priyan from fourth. Again, the same throw to Priyan in a slightly different place. Across to Virals. Centres to Keeley. Continues now in the middle with Priyan, who pings it straight into Edmondson's hands. Tizik doesn't have much upfield, but goes into the corner for Keeley. Oh, who bids, and it bounces just out of her reach. And that would have been an incredible finish.
Yeah, I like that look. The defense is trailing. She has the opening. It's a little out of reach, but I like that look in the end zone.
And do you think Brute squad will be affected by the injury of Claudia Tajima very much?
I don't think so. I mean, injuries happen pretty frequently. It looks like she is walking around and will be back in, so I don't think so.
But Brute squad going deep to guess who? Becky Malinowski. No one upfield, so she has to reset. Fourth now, looking to get that force on Zhu. Zhu centres to Malinowski. Across to Sinacrope. Huge fake from Sinacrope. Centres to Zhu. Oh, I think Zhu just rushed that a little bit. Malinowski had come out. She was definitely free, but if she wanted to throw it, she had to put it a bit further back, a bit further across the field, and just doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, but definitely Brute using the break side a lot at this point. Let's see if the EuroStars can work at 70 yards again.
So Tizik now on the disc. A very good break into the path of Lindqvist. Oh, he tries to center to Priyan, but I don't think she was ready for it. And the Eurostars are definitely making this job harder for the for Brute Squad to take half. And there's a timeout. Cinnacrope immediately taking the timeout. Maybe that will work exactly how it did for the Eurostars earlier.
Yeah, they came out of that timeout with tons of energy. And I think long points are hard both mentally and physically. Your legs are tired, and the more tired your mind gets, your decision making is affected as well. So I think this timeout is probably both mental and physical for both teams.
And as we see the sunset there, a good time to thank some more of our sponsors. We have our kit sponsor, Lucky Grass, who did a fantastic job of a very quick run in the last week before we came to the tour due to some unfortunate errors. And our glove sponsor, which is Friction Gloves. As you can see, a few of the players did start with their gloves on, and you can see Ula Kili there wearing the Eurostar Friction Gloves. Thanks to them for fantastic support and sponsorship.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more players that play with these Friction Gloves, partially because of weather, and rain and wind, and I think some is mental. There were moments last season I started playing in Friction Gloves because I felt like my forehands were more consistent with them, whether it was mental or physical. But if it works, keep going. Everyone has these traditions and kind of tendencies that work for them, these tricks, and as athletes, many of us have them.
And here we have the Eurostars at Boston. The score is 5-7. This is the third game in the Eurostars Tour, fighting for the America's Cup, which is currently 1-1. The next game will be at Seattle in a couple of days' time, where we have a few more days to relax and rest, as it's been a very intense couple of days. But now the Eurostars are coming out on defense. It looks like Brute are ready.
Bruce are coming out in a vertical offense, which they were doing some last point, but many horizontal plays. So the vertical offense is a new look. So potentially they're coming out with a pull play, or just kind of reorganizing and getting their head back together.
Well, this has been one hell of an exciting half. We'll talk about more about that when it finishes, but it might not finish as soon as we think. Cinnacrope takes on the around to Zhu. A good continuation to 26. Schwamm centers back to Zhu. And a massive fake. Gets it to Cinnacrope. Cinnacrope goes inside to 14, who immediately continues a bit high, but well reeled in by 42. Rachel Kramer. Kramer across the field to Cinnacrope. Well defended by Virals. Oh, and a tip, but still goes for the goal to Leanne Hoffman. And that was a bit lucky by Brute Squad, but after all those passes, I think they deserved it. Taking the half, 8-5.
Yeah, and they came out of that half. It looked like they were hoping Leanne to be that ISO cutter. She was the last in the stack, but were able to be patient and move it around. A great offensive run and finishing the half.
And what would you say the story of the half is for you, Dory?
I think it's fewer turns. I mean, we've seen a couple long points. There were a couple points maybe with 8 to 10 turnovers, but for the most part, kind of 0 to 2 turnovers, I think. And both teams are able to move the disc well. I think getting enough separation on these deep shots to make them options. Both teams like to huck it and have great receivers, so it's getting good options. The zones seem to work, but I think most teams just kind of person defense is what's winning for them.
Nice. So now we have the halftime. We'll take a quick break. Please do join us on the other side of the half.
I want us to get to a point where when you say ultimate player, you think men and women.
I would advise that men expect women to be great and see what women have to offer to our society and to our sport.
is not about us being on TV. Like, I care if girls are shown that it's okay to be an athlete and that you have value as an athlete.
We showcased today in the finals how good women's ultimate is.
Seven Hills is an ultimate program for young people that gives them an opportunity to play with kids from all over the city who they otherwise might only see as opponents on the field.
We really want to put a high emphasis on character and kids that really want to get better and learn and kind of create a program and not just a team.
Trying to gather players that are just enthusiastic about the game and hopefully create a strong future for Seattle Ultimate.
It's a chance for kids to come together from all around the city to get better at Ultimate and learn what it means to be a part of a team.
The name Seven Hills is from the Seven Hills surrounding Seattle, right? So coming together as one to represent Seattle as a city. You know, all arms reach out from Seattle to bring these kids in. We have people from all over, east side, west side, north side, south side. So. It's pretty cool to be a part of. I know. Well, actually, I've been friends with you for longer than she's been friends with Christy. Christy never comes on. Started. We live in the same building. Oh, really? That's true. Oh, it is. It's totally Val. Hi, Val. Yeah, Ralph. Oh, hi. You guys like also, fuck you, because you guys stay with so good. I just take care of you for 4 hours. I tried to go over here. I know. She's so good at drinking. Yeah, awesome. Oh, yeah. I don't really know.
You guys don't look following. The original boxes.
There are way more people than the bet game or the scandal game. Dude, there were like 3, 4
Yeah, anytime. All right, everybody. Coming at a half, Brute Squad.
Welcome back to EuroStars at Boston here for the America's Cup.
Starting on defense.
We've had a fairly long half time there. The current score here is 8-5 for Brute. The lights are on and the EuroStars are ready to play. How do you think the EuroStars are going to have to, or what are they going to have to change, Dory, to break down this Brute Squad offense?
It's all about defense. Offense are minor mistakes that those teams really worked out, but it's all about defense and getting more stops. Whether it's being closer downfield, put pressure on the handlers. I think it worked well when they changed that look up and did that zone for a bit. I think really EuroStars is going to be that point that they came with the energy, the point block. They looked good. It's all about defense.
Nice. And that's something that I would definitely think the EuroStars have been working on. We've seen in both this game and the DC game, they were able to push the offensive line back enough that they would really struggle to get this moving. But once both those teams were able to like unlock the defense, that's where things become difficult for a defensive team.
Yeah, I mean, for an offensive team to not feel the pressure of the defense, not even know you're there, that's easy. I mean, teams can throw and catch, can cut for days, but when someone changes what's going on for you, then you have to think more.
Trying to dig out of this hole.
Coming out on offense and a very nice pull there. Just bouncing in.
While we get them started for half.
And the EuroStars playing that zone that we saw in that first half. And
immediately it has effect. A short field now.
Turnover.
And a quick turn, quick goal. Straight away a break. Eklund with another goal. And what a come out of half there. For the EuroStars.
Yeah, I mean, just what I was saying. Get a different look, do something different. The offense was trapped on the sideline, a tough place to be to get it off the line. Great energy coming out of half from the EuroStars.
And that's a break. Now 6-8. If we could keep this up, we could see a very close finish to this game.
Yeah, I think zone offense is a puzzle, and you have to be patient and not force anything and see where the options are. So it's partially, I think it's mostly mental and partially chemistry.
What is the only
quick shout out to everyone watching at home. We've heard there were at some point 500 plus people watching. Please do enjoy the stream, but also please be respectful in the comments. Keep it civil, but keep the discussions open. We definitely want to be talking about the right things in the right way. And we already have talked about the language you're using, and it is important. So please be respectful of anyone who makes any comment.
So EuroStars coming out on defense again. We'll see if they do that zoning, and that worked with the quick turnover last point.
Bass with the pull. This time flies out of this near sideline. And Tajima is back on the field here. So she's bricking the pull. And she is unmarked. So she taps it in. There's no stall. So she fakes a big, there we go. So this is a zone where there is no one marking a handler. I'm not sure what's going on upfield, but it has caused a pick.
I kind of think they wanted to play zone, and then when the pull went out of bounds, they had to adjust to person and didn't plan for that. Because it looks like who has who, and here they go into person defense.
Bass almost running into Tajima, who takes on the deep shot, and there's no one there.
A good look to Becky. As we said, Becky Malinowski is a great receiver, a nice target, but just a little far as opposed to up in the air where she has the advantage.
And maybe she was just too free. Maybe that gave her a bit too much confidence to take on something that wasn't quite right. But now the EuroStars have a chance to break and be within one. So Bass walking to the corner.
And the EuroStars in a vertical stack, kind of off, maybe like a side stack. An immediate handler striking deep.
Prien on the disc. The Bass clears for space. And lovely come under there from Tizik. Continues to Keeley. Now it's the 30-yard line. Keeley going around to fourth, and it's just a bit too far for fourth to take on. Malinowski streaking for the end zone as Tajima slowly walks up to the disc. Varal's on the force. Tajima inside. A lovely little put there to Leanne Hoffman for the goal. Bruce scored with a hold. 9-6.
It looked like kind of an ISO end zone play with Leanne up in the front of that stack, isolated, and just Claudia able to easily put that high backhand out. Whether lefty or righty, those backhands are just floating for the receiver to catch.
Trivia question. We had a number of folks tweet out. It's actually Johanna Newman, who won the Callahan back in 2000 from Tufts University. The first one.
What kind of a look would you expect from Brute Squad now? Coming out of the half, it's a break and a hold for them. But I feel like they must want to change something to ensure that they don't give away any more breaks.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they switch up the defense at all. We've seen both a person defense and kind of a person with a sag on the handlers. Brute Squad tends to just play a lot of person defense and kind of stick with that really aggressive, intense defense. I mean, they might have just made small adjustments on the mark or backing or fronting downfield. And it looks like they're coming down in person as we see Lawrence Adler streaking to guard this handler.
Heath there with a great pull. But Hauser able to connect with Scarampi, so now we're at half with Eklund. Eklund gets it back to Scarampi. Nice continuation to Hauser. Fakes that deep shot. Wearing her fabulous hat, and that's not just the name of, not the type of hat, it's the team name of her Swiss team. Enkinen gets it to fourth, who's under a lot of pressure. Great continuation, but a pick called upfield.
The EuroStars moving it quickly, probably only 1 or 2 seconds on the stall, and the defense just getting there. Great movement by their offensive line here.
Scarampi able to keep the disc. She goes around, high to Eklund, who can't quite keep it hold of the disc. And maybe that was a bit too much air bounce on that from Scarampi.
We have number 23,
so Basher,
picking up the disc.
Picking up the disc. Takes it down the line. To Groom. Groom's disc just too low. And straight away Hauser picking up, and that quick disc movement, exactly what we were talking about earlier. To fourth. Centers to Milek. Milek with a nice fake and throw to Hauser. Hauser with a hammer to Eklund, and it was in straight into 2 defenders. I think she wanted to put it a bit further into this corner, allowing Eklund to run onto it. A nice look, but unable to connect.
Brute Squad again trying to work those 70 yards. It's a tough place to be when your kind of back's against the wall.
Yeah. And Zhu finds Groom. Dishes off to Beisha. Beisha again out to Zhu. A nice continue, and these three working well together. Groom, Zhu, and Beisha. But Ali Heath has been called for a pick. The score here is 9-6. So
Ali Heath, who's handling, but we see going deep. We've seen handlers on both sides making those deep cuts, which is hard to defend.
Zhu now back on the disc to Beisha. Back to Zhu. A Groom under a lot of pressure from fourth. Gets it back into Zhu. Across the field to Beisha. Takes the inside flick straight into the hands of Hauser. I think that wasn't quite the release she wanted. Hauser now on the disc.
Yeah, Emily looked unhappy with the execution of that throw.
Continues to Eklund, who centers it to Inkinen. Inkinen goes inside to Milek. And Eurostar's not scared of these tight corners. To Eklund, a lovely offload to Inkinen. Inkinen inside.
A lot of yardage on that one.
Yeah, to Scarampi. Middles to Eklund. Fakes the inside. Goes around to Scarampi. Scarampi wants the high release backhand, but nothing there. into the middle to Hauser. No continue, but Forth comes out the end zone for it. Fakes the scuba. Goes all the way around to Eklund. Another goal for Eklund. Very well held there by the EuroStars, working it all the way down the field, making it 9-7. And here's the replay. Forth with that fake of that backhand. Still getting high. Out comes Schneidel, but can't quite make that go in. And it would go across the field for the goal.
We've seen a lot of EuroStar goals that same way, kind of that forehand to the other side, which is an awesome play. I also wanted to think back. So Cami Groom was making awesome cuts at that point. And I think one of the best things about him is she quickly in the game showed her deep threat and able to cut deep, and people then are threatened by that and worried about it, so they'll back her or they'll bite a lot in that deep throw. And she had huge unders, probably 20, 30 yards, which both in that point on Cami and the EuroStars side, we saw gaining 20 to 30 yards, which opens up the field so much. She is an incredible cutter and awesome to watch.
We saw some nice little throws there from the EuroStars. Not scared of tight corners and not scared of tighter angles. And I would like to point out Essie Inkinen there, who had a very nice inside throw all the way down the line, as you said, during the point, making lots of yards. And I think that's exactly how the EuroStars are going to have to play to even get near this Brute Squad team.
Definitely, they had a lot of give and goes, using the whole width of that field, especially with that goal. Awesome movement. Let's see if they do that zone again, which has been working for them.
And a high backhand pull sails into the field. And yeah, it looks like it's a bit more of a poachy look, but I think it's person defense. Kramer to Tajima. Nothing across the field, so she has to reset to Sinekrope. Sinekrope inside to Malinowski coming under. Malinowski goes deep, making it look easy to Leanne Hoffman, who's poached by Forth.
Yeah, Katie Forth on that one tried to kind of get a poach D, and that's one of the ones that you kind of hope. And if you don't get the D, then you're getting burned deep, which Leanne we saw burned her deep. But a great attempt there by Katie Forth.
Yeah, and there we see the absolutely unmarked Leanne Hoffman. She's looking around a bit incredulously. But sometimes you've just got to go for those bids, and if you can get some help from the back of stack or someone on the other side of the field, and that happens. I think the EuroStars are probably in that point, but a bit impatient. They just want to get a block. They just want to get that break.
Yeah, and I think harder when you don't have that chemistry, kind of reading each other and knowing when people are off and being more individual. So you see that kind of poach D's and able to pick up each other when you have that chemistry.
Yeah, I'm going to stop using that as an excuse soon, I think. 'Cause they've played a couple games now, and I mean we picked this fight, so they're working on it. They're definitely working on it.
They are, and they look incredible. I'm incredibly impressed by their ability to play zone defense and have the incredible movement that we've seen.
So Milek fielding to Inkinen. Looks like they're doing a bit of an isolation, which many teams call something called the German. Doesn't quite work out. Hauser now on the disc. Nice little reset set to Skarampi. Continues to Inkinen. But very well taken under there by Faralfi, taking exactly what's given. And here she really takes what's given. Schneidel under a lot of pressure, but very well boxed. Schneidel isolated now. Will want the reset, but gets it to Forth. Into the corner to Faralfi, who gets that goal in the corner. Incredible taken, and what a celebration by the Italian player. A hold by the EuroStars, 8-10.
And that was an awesome point. You saw people having undercuts without any pressure from the defense. That huge huck and able to, there's kind of some bodying and boxing out, but still the EuroStars able to come down with that one. A great offensive hold for the EuroStars.
EuroStars 8, Brute Squad 10.
Apologies for some of the problems we're having with replays. Technical difficulties with our communication between our cameras and our producers here. We will try and get that fixed. We are really enjoying the replays, but that was a great little play there by the EuroStars, ensuring that they can keep that disc and keep that that offensive machine running.
And this is a game. 10-8 is a close game. You know, EuroStars gets one, and then it's a 1-point game. So this is an awesome battle we're seeing.
Yeah, and many of the top teams would love to be in this position. Let's say USA Nationals or US Open, so they should be very proud, and their confidence is rising as they go through this game. On the line now for EuroStars is Forth, Keeley, Bass, Tizik, Anderson, Lindqvist, and Varels. Bass with the pull. An incredible backhand from someone of such small stature. You would not expect it, but she absolutely rips it. Now on the fourth for against Tajima.
And we see them sagging on the handlers and then tightening up as they become more of a threat, kind of making those handler options look available and taking away the windows.
Sinekroat wants her players to come under. And EuroStars again pushing back Brute Squad, doing a great job of stopping those insides, but one under is Malinowski, who really fakes that deep shot. A great little shot into the inside though. Immediately striking inside, and there's that deep shot again. Floats over Lee Hoffman and Forth, and Hoffman doing a fantastic job bringing that disc down. But now isolated, wants the reset. Ooh, and I'd say that's a travel by Sinekroat, but she keeps playing, not in. Fakes the inside and a bid, but Hoffman isolated in front of the disc yet again. That little squirrely cut for the goal. Well played there by Brute Squad after being pushed back a bunch. 11-8.
And another goal we've seen with that high backhand, just kind of placing it out in that space so players land the past couple, but offensive players are able to just run onto it. Seems like Brute and the EuroStars are scoring in different ways, both incredibly effective. The EuroStars kind of using the space in the other side of the end zone, and Brute able to kind of make it with their throws and finding those openings.
Apart from that break at the beginning of the game, I think it's been trading since then. But you could see there that clear communication between the handler and the receiver, those fakes that Sinekroat was making Leanne Hoffman know exactly where she needs to be.
We call those communi-fakes.
Yeah.
She's communicating with those fakes and saying, I don't want you there, and keep moving. Give me something else.
EST 2017.
And here we see Sinekroat just talking to her Brute Squad teammate, making it clear exactly what she wants in the next point and what she wants to see again.
And that was Jenny Goldman who she was talking to. This is Jenny's first year on Brute. She's coming from UConn, and I'm excited to see the athleticism that she'll bring to this team.
And a great pull by Ali Heath there, well into the EuroStars half. And there's that isolation play. Hauser getting it to Faralfi. Fakes the around, but gets it inside to Skarampi. Skarampi across to Eklund. And you can look at all these isolation cuts coming straight down that far side. Inkinen with a deep shot to an incredibly well-placed Laura Faralfi, getting her second goal of the game. And that was very well played by the EuroStars, isolating players down that far sideline and just keeping the disc moving smoothly for the goal at 9-11.
Yeah, awesome movement by the EuroStars. They're able to push their players out and get these unders. We saw that goal happen, and I don't think the defender even knew it was up or that their player was a threat.
And both teams now tightened up their offensive line, and I think both D-lines will be really seeking for blocks and trying to treasure that disc once they do get it. A quick shout out to our bottle sponsors. You can't quite see it on the stream right now, but littered on this near sideline are 18 to 20 bright yellow 50-50 bottles. Thanks to 50-50 for supplying us with those. They're doing a great job of keeping our players hydrated through the tour.
So EuroStars on defense here, and what they've been doing has been working, but I'm curious to see if they'll go back to that that sagging on the handlers or the zone. The sagging defense on the handlers makes it look like those windows on either side aren't an option, because it's almost like a wall in front of that first handler, and they have to be patient, not get their first option, and potentially swing it to their handlers.
Come on, EuroStars. Let's make this a very tight game. Right now it's 9-11.
So the pull this time going out. Bass is doing a great job so far, but that one sails out the far sideline.
Got Claudia Tajima.
Tajima picking the disc up. And doesn't seem like her injury has phased her at all. Into the middle is Tajima. And there's a bit of a flood play by Brute Squad. Our team, my team at home called that the windmill play. Oh, and a huge fake by Tajima gets Keeley off the ground, and she almost gets the block. Well isolated by EuroStars. Tajima inside backhand straight into the hands of Jackie Varals, and this is a chance for EuroStars to break back. Now with Katie fourth on the near sideline, continues down the line to Keeley. Keeley centres to fourth. Continues to Virals. Back to fourth. Now almost at half. Down the line to Priyan. Bit of a spin move. Down the line to fourth. Big backhand fake. But Keeley unmarked. She centres the bus. Goes all the way around to an isolated Priyan. And that's too far out the sideline. And that's really unfortunate because that would have made this game very exciting, but you never know what will happen in the next possession.
Incredibly unfortunate after getting that D and the opportunity to get that break.
Malinowski on the disc now. Resets to Tajima. Fakes it down the line. She wants inside, but eventually finds it down the line. And again, something happening with Tajima. I feel like maybe her injury is affecting her, and maybe the crowd. I mean, she's played in many crowds before, so I feel like she shouldn't be struggling with that, but that's a couple turnovers now for Claudia.
She has. I feel like liking looks and maybe forcing them. I think that first one, we see a timeout here. Maybe that first one just kind of wanting to throw deep and trying to force that backhand huck. We'll see if they come out, if both teams come out with energy after this timeout, though. I think you need that mental break.
The score here is 9 to the EuroStars, 11 to Boston. And what do you think the coach will be saying in that huddle for Brute Squad?
If I was that coach, I think I would say throw to the first open person. I think kind of fall back into their basics. You know, someone's always going to be open. It might not be scoring, it might not be for the goal, but be patient, play in our system. And I think you have to fall back on that, especially when you get tired in late games and you have defensive pressure. Someone's going to be open and finding that player and keeping the disc moving. I think for the EuroStars, it's probably similar. They had great movement, were able to swing it and get openings. And maybe it's just keep doing what they're doing. I think that was an unfortunate turn, kind of them throwing out of bounds, maybe a little too wide. I couldn't tell if it was high from this angle. But I imagine the EuroStars will come out with some kind of pull play.
For the trivia win. It was founded in 2001.
The Brute Squad appear to be ready, coming out of the timeout. They'll wait for the EuroStars to set their offense. And here's hoping that in a similar fashion to the first half, they come out stronger out of their timeouts. And if they can get it up to 10-11, this game could literally go any direction from there.
Young high school ultimate players about learning the game of ultimate frisbee.
The lights are now definitely on, and this has definitely been a bit of a factor, I think, in the game. Earlier on, it was sunny with the shade coming across the field. Definitely affects the way you play and then whether you can see discs coming into your hand or not. But now they're going to have to work more with the fact that it's the lights that might distract them.
An interesting factor when you just play one game compared to a tournament when you might do up and down, but here maybe you do up light, down light.
Yeah. So the EuroStars coming out with a host stack. But have to take on the reset to fourth. Couple spin moves from both handlers there. And a reset eventually to Bass, who does a good job of getting free. Swings it out to Keeley. She goes down the line to Virals, who gets a hand to it but can't keep hold of it. And that was some nice play by the EuroStars. Just to get that disc moving was a tough ask.
I agree. Great patience by the handlers. The cutters were making a lot of cuts and not getting hit, whether the timing wasn't right or they didn't see that window. And it's hard to stay patient as the handler. Unfortunate turnover, though.
So Tajima picking up for the third time this point finally gets it around to 14. Toss to Douglas. Douglas. Resets to Tajima. Down the line. Oh, and just a bit too far for number 16, Erin Rea. Sorry, 46. My apologies. Jojo Emerson. So now, having made a bit of ground, Bas centres to Prien. Prien resets to Varals. She continues back to Prien. It's a bit stationary from the cutter right in front of her, but luckily for her, Varals is there to help her out. Varals really needs some cuts upfield.
It is looking quite static.
Call up the field there, pick. I think maybe tired heads are prevailing here. Like you say, it's just 1 point, one game, a couple of days, so they really have to put a lot of effort into every one of these games, unlike a tournament where you have to spread yourself out a little bit more. So I've talked to the players after the games, and they're absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, it's a very different mindset compared to 4 games a day, 8 games a tournament, and you might only play 4 points in this whole game, and it's a different 100% than in a tournament. It's a very exciting energy.
Oh wait, it was tapped in, but it wasn't. I believe it wasn't clear. There was no countdown.
Violation call.
So yeah, a violation has been called. The mark there, Rachel Kramer taps it in to Virals. Gets it to Keeley. Keeley, and a very nice cut there by Virals. Makes some space for the thrower. Virals down the line to Prien. Gets the reset to 4th. Back to Bas. Across the field to Virals. Bas unmarked. All the way down to Prien. And EuroStar's doing a good job of just swinging the disc, keep the disc in the hands of their players. To Lindqvist. Will she take on another deep shot? Yes, she will. And there goes Prien. Will she get it? Will she have to bid? Yes, she does!
Wow.
What a goal by Prien! And that's a break. Absolutely roasting to that disc. Now 10-11.
An incredible cut. You saw her defender, Becky Malinowski, taking a second to poach and try and defend some undercut, and that was enough of a hesitation that Prien was able to go deep and have enough separation and makes an incredible catch. Let's see that replay. Well, it was an incredible replay, full layout with no defenders nearby.
And there we see the EuroStars rushing the field. It really looked like she was putting 100% into having to make that cut. Incredible athleticism from Nikki Prien. Probably very tired after a very long point. But now this game, absolutely in the balance. They may not be equal on score, but I think they're equal on play.
Yeah, and we see Bruce Squad sending their D-line out. The offensive line has played a couple points in a row, and I think both for a change and to get some legs out there. So the defensive line is coming out. So we see a whole new set of 7 playing offense on this point. And the EuroStars probably with the momentum here. It was an awesome score, a break, and they're riled up. They're pumped.
I mean, I'm pumped just sitting here. I'm both nervous and excited at the same time, Dory.
Another trivia question of the night.
So now on the field we have Inkinen for Olfi, Eklund, 4th, Milek, Schneidel and Viral. Sorry, not Schneidel, Skarampi.
2017.
So Brute Squad looking for that hold. We now see Shelley Cohen and she takes on a deep shot to Skarampi, marking her, and she does just enough. Sorry, that was to Wong, and Skarampi did just enough to put off Wong, but maybe just get a little tap on it as well.
And great defense. It was a zone defense, and I saw Cassie streaking deep, didn't see a defender near, and Scrampy was able to make that ground up and make that a tight catch.
These women, showcasing some fantastic offense and defense, typifying some great ultimate for Olfi. A massive deep shot of her own to Eklund into the break side. Oh, and Eklund goes high but can't quite reel that one in.
Nice defense from Chelsea Murphy.
I do like that shot on option, and Eklund won't be happy with that. Again, this zone look. Now with Zhu. Zhu is... I've seen a lot of footage of Zhu, and she loves to play against zone. I'd expect to see quite a few little knives over the top. But now a bit of pressure for Cohen. And there's that sort of throw I expect to see. Well brought down by Wong. Doesn't like anything upfield. So looks to her reset. Breaks out there for Bosch. Oh, excuse me, Beisha. Getting too excited. Beisha hasn't got much on, so she takes that knife into a corner. Oh, and it just comes off. A bit of luck, a bit of skill. What do you get? Beisha to Wong.
Well, we saw a couple of those kind of bladey forehands, which are wonderful in the zone, especially with no wind.
And here we see that play again. Probably a bit high in the stall count. Maybe a bit of a travel, but you probably wouldn't call that. She didn't get anything out of it. High, and Schneidel really unlucky. If she'd just been one step behind, I think she would have got D on that, but Wong does very well. Reads it into her hands, takes the goal, and you can see, I can also just see Eklund coming off the field. Not very happy with herself. As she had a great little moment where she almost skied the Brute Squad player.
I agree. That was a great look. She had the height advantage and a great option. And whether the defender got in there or just kind of a doink off the fingers, but a great look by the EuroStars on that offensive possession.
Yeah, and this game, as we said earlier, could go either way right now. That was not easy for Brute Squad, having to take on a difficult option. The score now 12-10.
Yeah, that goal ended up being kind of lucky. We don't know how high the stall was, but we saw Emily Bacher, the handler, kind of looking at her handler, looking at different options, and thought that putting it into the end zone gave Cassie Wong and the other offenders the best potential option to score that goal, which worked out in their favor.
Get your gear after the game.
So Brute back on defense, and I imagine a place that they would prefer to be, which most teams would, able to get energy through the defense, which we've seen the EuroStars this second half working to their advantage.
So Brute pulling out the field. Bus will bring it back in.
It looks like it's going to be a person defense for Brute Squad.
And the EuroStars kind of clustering their stack, but it's a bit more of a side stack look. A lovely little cut there from Lindqvist upfield. Lindqvist having a fantastic game. Gets a lot of yards there to Tizik. Tizik resets to fourth. Call of pick upfield. Priyan is down.
Pick call.
Looks like she's hurt a little, but she's looks like she's staying on the field. Maybe a bit shaken.
Number 2.
She's good to go.
Looks like she's staying in.
So pick up field. Disc back in on fourth.
Kathy fourth.
Across to Paula Bass. Bass. Very isolated right now. Goes around to Virals. Bass again. Again very isolated. Again with the around though. So Priya now on the disc. Another reset to Bass. Again with the around. They really need to stop Bass doing that as she's getting many a yard. But immediately giving it back through the reset. And Virals throwing to a poach.
Shelley Cohen with the poach
And
D.
that's Shelley Cohen with the D. She gets it straight back now on that far sideline. Fakes the deep shot. Goes inside. A lovely high backhand.
Before that, we saw the EuroStars with a great offensive possession, kind of throw whatever they want. The handlers having no trouble, barely even feeling the mark, but unfortunate turn thrown into that poach of Shelley Cohen.
So now with 29, Caitlin Lee gets it to Heath. Heath down the line, back to who gave it to her. And gets it back herself to Heath. Across the field now with 22, Negus. Negus goes inside to Heath. Heath with a backhand into the corner, but it's potentially too far. A nice bid. I think she was out anyway, but a very nice bid.
It's a nice bid from Chelsea Murphy.
By Chelsea Murphy.
Being picked up by
And now
number
EuroStars have to work
22.
it, the full field. This time coming out, it looks like with a hoe stack, but maybe a T stack actually.
It does, and we'll see if the Brute defense is able to put a little more pressure on those EuroStar handlers.
The reset there to Keeley, continues to fourth. And another pick upfield. I'm not so sure where that pick occurred. The 3 upfield and 4 back currently. I think they need to move someone downfield more. But currently 4th on the disc. This game is brought to you by the fantastic crew here from Fulcrum Media. An all-female production crew here. Bass centres to 4th. A nice inside shot to Annika Lindqvist. Lindqvist. Again, a great inside flick. Verhaus takes on the same option. Tizik chasing it. Goes for the bid. Oh, and just scrapes the floor. And the disc bounces near her.
A great attempt. That's an awesome rundown of that puck. And you can see it in front of you and just the adrenaline going. You got a bid for it. A great bid from Tizik.
Yeah, that was some fantastic athleticism again. Once again from the Eurostars. Not afraid to put it into space. Not afraid to bid for it either.
We'll see if they can keep it here. This is a hard spot for Brute's offense, and Eurostars will want to have a short field, so they'll put some pressure here on the defense side.
Cohen gets it to Heath. Heath down the line. A quick movement from Brute squad. Dobkin takes on a deep shot, and that one is too far. I feel like the Brute squad hucks are a bit more knifey, and so they're giving it. It feels like they're giving it too much edge.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that the Eurostars hucks have been to a lot of space, which gives the offense the advantage and is easy to run onto. And Brute squads maybe
they're just
maybe
rushing.
not enough float. I feel like you're saying a little knifey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are they rushing a bit? They want to score quick and get the point over, maybe?
That could be it. I mean, we've seen hucks from both cutters and handlers, so maybe some of the people that are typically not throwing deep are. I'm not sure what's going on with their hucks, though, but I agree that the Eurostars have felt a little more floaty and kind of easier to run onto, even too far at times, we've seen.
But here we go, Eurostars with another chance. Up their hold. Bass. A nice upfield, 10, 20 yards up to Prien. Gets the reset to Bass. Into 4th. 4th now on the near sideline. Very good cut there by Bass into the power position.
Oh, Tizik going deep and not a good option, apparently.
And a hammer from Bass across the field to Lindqvist. I'm not sure that Lindqvist was the affected player there, so she keeps the disc.
A hammer for the reset.
And no mark. We'll see if Eurostars take advantage of this player with no mark and throw anywhere on the field.
Lindqvist. Unmarked until now. Down the line to Bass with the great strike. Across the field. Flick. High. Will she be able to read it and bring it down? Yes, she will. Katie Forth showing off her athleticism. And a little friendly push there from the Blue Squad player.
Katie Forth plays in the USAU, so many of the Brute Squad players have played against her. And Saddles, you saw there, getting skied by Katie Forth. Unhappy about that matchup.
A nice little throw, I'd say, but what a grab over the top of her. Almost showing it to her. Saddles giving her a little push sideways. And that's just some friendly rivalry between the two. As
you see them now arm in arm, yeah.
As Dory says, Katie Forth, having played for Texas Showdown for a couple of years, and in fact for the American national team last year in London, all very friendly.
Yes, and Saddles was her teammate there in London, so they now are playing on opposite sides, which I'm sure neither of them want to do. You can see them still talking, whether talking about that play or just kind of laughing in general.
A nice little fact about Paola, the assist there, she has a tattoo on the inside of her arm of Africa. And that's because she wants to be a doctor out in Africa, and she has that goal in mind. And so she's, inked her own body to remind her of that on a daily basis.
Wow.
She's a very young player from the Netherlands. Has a lot of support back at home from her Amsterdam and Utrecht supporters. I'm sure, potentially watching. It's quite late over there, but they could definitely be watching on the video on demand on Facebook or on our website. So the score here, 12-11. The momentum is definitely shifting between both teams. I can't really tell who's going to take this game at all right now. I wouldn't want to predict that at all. But Brute Squad looking for a hold.
And a much closer second half. At halftime, it was 8-5 Brute Squad, and now we've seen the comeback from the EuroStars to now 1 point difference here late in the game.
And let's not forget, this Brute Squad team are the current and 2-time national championship winners. So, one, we can not stress how much of a difficult game this is for the EuroStars, but also how incredible these Brute Squad players are. But they have got it all the way to this last third with Schwam right now. Schwam really wants to reset. Almost gets it to Tajima, but there was a little stutter in her step. She couldn't quite connect. And now a chance to equal up the game. Hauser with a deep shot to Schneidel. Reels it in.
Schneidel with the grab.
Schneidel back on the end zone line. Lefty into the end zone. And that's a goal, a break for Beck's fourth. And the EuroStars are even with the USA national champions at 12.
Wow. And an unfortunate turn to Brute Squad that gave EuroStars that opportunity. A great hug from EuroStars. They have been connecting on those deep shots, as we see here.
So Schneidel there reels that one in, and she's had a fantastic shot with her deep shots. Wasn't quite sure where she was. Lovely little lefty lead for Beck's fourth. And a fantastic break there for the EuroStars.
This is another challenge that we'll see mentally for both teams. EuroStars having that momentum and Brute Squad being tied kind of after being up this whole game. What do they do at this point? Do they change something up? Do they fall back to exactly what they know how to do? And do the EuroStars change something up on defense, or just kind of keep riding this momentum?
Yeah, I'm getting excited. I just can't tell what's going to happen, and that's exactly why we watch and love this sport. A big shout out again to those that have supported us throughout this tour. There are many at home, the federations back in Europe, the USAU here, the Ultimate Athlete Project are doing a great job of ensuring that our players are ready with their strength and conditioning. And all the friends and family of the players at home who are making sure that they're ready more mentally and much more prepared for anything that can be thrown at them. And in this game, everything has been thrown at them. The absolute toolbox by Brute Squad, who are now really starting to get ready for this offensive point. We see the likes of Malinowski out on the field, who's had a fantastic game herself. And she's going to really have to play their hardest to beat this EuroStars team. So Sinacro picks up. Gets the around, but well defended, and Malinowski just wasn't able to get hold of it. Prien with a block, and now the EuroStars looking to take the lead for the first time this game. Fourth, picking up. Fourth, down the line to Varels. Can't quite keep hold of it. And a drop. Lucky for Brute Squad though, they get another shot, but this is going to be a much slower start. Tajima picking up.
Kind of that flood play we saw earlier where the first two people on the sideline going across and that third player cutting, but it wasn't successful for the continuation.
Malinowski now, far side. Takes a deep shot, and it's very well placed to Lien, who I don't think she was quite in, so Eklund. And well run down by Tajima. Unfortunate there for the EuroStars, I'd say. They had a chance to take another break. And you could see that the Brute Squad just wanted to score quickly. Here, Malinowski faking a bunch of times, but gets that flick huck out. Absolutely perfectly placed for Hoffman to read and almost toe in. Definitely not in, as we can see there. Eklund potentially just in the wrong place. Tajima doing a very good job, giving it some space for Hoffman to lead her into the end zone. And some nice smooth offense there for Brute Squad, which is exactly what they needed.
Definitely. It's hard to know what happened that first turnover. It kind of looked like they set up Leanne and then for that ISO play, and Becky filled. I'm not sure if the timing was off as Amber, the handler, is kind of faking her mark, trying to make Becky be an option. She ended up throwing that around backhand, and it was a turnover. But definitely using that ISO play at the beginning to try and get it to players like Leanne Hoffman or Becky Malinowski.
The score here now, 13-12. I think it might be a little bit windier out there than earlier. I just heard a bit of a rattle here in the commentary booth. So there might be a bit of a breeze out there that may change the course of this game slightly. And the crowd really enjoying this game. You can hear them. We can hear them cheering.
That poll is from Tulsa Douglas, an Amherst alum, as I mentioned, and player that just made the U24 team, which is awesome for her and for that team.
So now a bit of a poachy look from Brute Squad. Well kept up by Beck's fourth. Resets to Hauser. Straight back to fourth. She takes on a backhand. Schneidel reads it perfectly and keeps it. Oh, and there was an isolation there on Ferolfi, who was entirely free, but she comes out and gets it. She goes for a backhand to Eklund. Rising high, ensuring that the EuroStars stay in touch at 13 all.
EuroStars have been incredibly successful with these hucks. It's awesome to see. And we saw here Eklund get after catch, or Schneckner after catching that, and having someone open in the end zone that wasn't an option apparently.
And look at Ferolfi just coming out, doing exactly the right thing. She couldn't get the disc for the goal, so coming out the end zone, and a very well placed backhand. The rising figure of Eklund is always going to bring that down.
And I love throwing through the mark there. We see some contact, kind of her follow through and maybe hit the defender with that round back in. Throwing around the mark, you're often going to get contact, and it's awesome to throw through the mark, whether that's a foul or a continuation as we saw here. Awesome for the EuroStars and exciting game.
Yeah. Awesome for Women's Ultimate just to see this showcase of fantastic athleticism and just generally incredible ultimate. We see there the moon rising above the EuroStars, shining down on this game, and just showing us exactly why we're here.
The EuroStars on defense again, and they've been playing mostly person defense this half, which has been working for them, as Brute, whether it's been impatient or just kind of missing those links. So we'll see what they do here on defense as they running down on the pole.
And Dory is so excited that she can't sit in her seat any longer. She's standing here as we see the EuroStars coming down. Tajima stopped there, has to reset to Sinacrope. And we're seeing a lot of the same players now, so Brute Squad potentially tightening up to ensure they can win this game. Sinacrope with a great little feed into Tajima. Fakes it down the line. Has to give it to Malinowski. She's the only one free. Into the middle to Sinacrope. A good continuation to Emerson. And the crowd wanting a deep shot. Emerson has to reset to Sinacrope. Into the middle to Malinowski. Malinowski takes on a knifey forehand. Perfectly placed once more. Malinowski having a fantastic game to Jenny Gobin. And it's 14-13.
Number 25, Jenny Gobin.
Here we see in the replay, a good job by Brute Squad to maintain possession. Sinacrope to Malinowski.
Jenny Gobin is a graduate
And a really nice knifey flick. Just getting it around Tizik. Into the path. Well, not really into the path, into the back of, sorry. Jenny Gobin does a great job of making sure they get that goal.
And actually, looking on that replay, it looks like Alana Schwam caught that goal.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah. Open and kind of did a 360 looking for that, but was able to reel in that bladey forehand from Becky.
Yeah, it was number 26 there. 6s and 5s. Very close. Well spotted, Dory.
That blue headband is helpful for me.
So they just mentioned the score is 14-13 EuroStars here at Boston. The game here will be to 15. And now the EuroStars looking for a hold. Inkinen now in the center of the disc. Here's that isolation play once more. Skarampi fakes a bunch to get it to Milek. A good continuation to Hauser. Oh, gets it to Inkinen. Tries to get it to Inkinen, but it's just too far down the line.
Unsure who that was to. It looked like a couple of the offenders weren't sure if it was to them and if they should even bid on it.
So now giving Brute Squad a chance to take the game. Zhu picking up. Zhu. Resets to Heath. Back to Zhu. Zhu's now nothing upfield, so has to take the reset to Heath. Heath. Inside out backhand. Over the top of one, but not quite close enough. Very well read though. I thought she'd have that.
I did too. Lauren Saddle knew that was coming and ran for it.
And it looks like someone's down on the field. Maybe cramp. For 39, Sydney Dobkin. Trainers are on. I feel like it's just cramp because I think the players came over to push her foot down.
That's what I saw as well. And you see one of the Brute players there, Kim, who is her roommate and a nurse. As we know, a lot of medical professionals on both sides, as we were talking about. At pre-doctor, she's in medical school or practicing now, but a lot of medical professionals on both sides. And looks like Sydney is fine.
And
smiling.
And a replacement, Chelsea Murphy, coming in. The disc is with the Eurostars, so we'll tap the disc to continue, or the ground rather, to continue. Someone has to tap. There we go. Chelsea does indeed tap. And we continue. Inkinen now on the disc. The disc is in. There weren't many cuts, but eventually Schneidel. Oh, the disc did go to Schneidel, and the tap out of the field. Fourth could have got to. It's this same sideline. Both Eurostars turnovers there. Throws down the line there a bit too far. Beisha picking up the disc. Brings it in on the 30-yard line. Goes inside to Wong. Back to Beisha. Across to Zhu. She fakes a deep shot. Across. Oh, and Beisha with a nice bid to continue the offense. She wants it to come under, but finds Heath on the near sideline. Heath, massive backhand fake, but no one there. Goes inside to Wong, who gets behind fourth. She continues to Murphy. Murphy, lefty inside fake. Doesn't like the down the line. And very well picked up by Zhu. Zhu across the field to Wong with a lot of pressure from Inkinen, but a pick is called upfield.
Seen a lot of movement from the handlers and a couple people kind of motioning for the cutters to come under, whether people are making too deep cuts or not timing them right.
So Wong brings it back in. Goes high to Zhu. And the disc pushed down, and I think it's been called down by fourth. There was a massive hand. It looked like a big hand from fourth to push that disc down. And Chelsea Murphy thinks, and the sideline seem to think it's up as well. But they'll discuss it on the field. And it's deadly quiet out there.
It is.
Right now they're discussing whether the disc was up or down.
If only there were replays down for the players to see. I guess that's one of the things I love is that you just have to know what you saw and stick to it and discuss it together.
Yeah. Only at big championships where I've seen a big screen have we seen that sort of interaction, which is very exciting to see. But you're right. Here in this situation, it's best that the players discuss. And it seems like it's contested, which in WFDF would mean it would go back. I'm not so sure about the USAU rules here about up-down calls.
Yeah, here as well it would go back.
And there we go.
It does.
Oh, turnover. Joking, not back in yet.
And one of the hard things to do late in the game too is, you want to score, you want to win, but you maybe it wasn't up, and hard to make calls when you're in the game.
Yeah. So the disc comes back with Zhu. Looks at her reset. Oh, and she tosses it into space and very well picked up by 23, Emily Beisha. Beisha goes around, and Eurostar's doing a good job of pushing back this last attempt by Zhu. She goes deep. Oh, and it's misread by the defender. And just too far for Chelsea Murphy to reel it in.
The Eurostars get another shot on offense. They had great movement last time, so we'll see what they do here.
I just hope they don't throw that lead pass backhand again. So Hauser takes her time this time, brings it forward, and we see a hoe stack look, 3-4, and a lot of space for those those cutters in front of the disc, which is Schneidel and Scarampi. Scarampi cuts across the field. Takes the reset to Hauser, who almost immediately throws the backhand to continue. But Scarampi coming back under to help her out. Backhand across the field to Eklund, who again was rising high, but well defended there by 37, Lauren Sadler. Another attempt for Zhu. Zhu almost took on the deep shot, but Wong is coming under. She takes on the option. Wong gets into the breadbasket. Wong to Zhu. In the middle of the field, Zhu. Deep shot. Will she bring it down? Yes, she will. Incredible play there by Wong. So much defensive pressure by Essie Inkonen, but it wasn't enough to stop Wong bringing the goal down. Inkonen is still down, but we'll just briefly look at the replay. Here's Zhu. She's been looking for that backhand all game. Only a little bit of separation there for Wong. Rising high. Oh, and Essie just landed a bit hard on her ankle. That might be why she's down. She's up now on the field.
And an awesome cut from Cassie Wong. You see it from the other sideline, and Angela seeing that develop enough to lead that into space for Cassie to get up, and it was an awesome catch, even under pressure.
And that's the game. Bruce squad taking it by 2, 15-13. And what a second half, Dory. I mean, what can you tell me about the half and the entire game?
It was an awesome game. I feel like the second half, the EuroStars came out with a newfound energy, especially on offense. They had a lot of miscues. Their hucks were working. Bruce Squad was making a couple mistakes, and just things were falling in for the EuroStars. An awesome second half where they were able to connect a couple more times, but just not enough to make up the difference from the first half.
As the players thank the fans and talk about the game between themselves, we'll look forward to the next game that's coming up in a couple of days in Seattle. We have a double header. We have Seattle Underground and Seattle Riot at the Memorial Stadium, Friday, July the 28th. Make sure you tune in on Facebook and on our website. The live streams will be there. I'll see you there. Dory, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This was an exciting game and a really fun opportunity.
Yeah. And we'll see you in a couple of days. Myself and Katie Reynolds. I'm David Price. This is the EuroStars Tour 2017.